Hi everybody, Kristjan here with Depositary. We are here with the lovely Kelly Wallace from TDS. So we are just going to wait to see if a few of you join us before we get cracking on this. Kelly and I have just been shooting the breeze a little bit, waiting to get ready. I've been madly dashing around my flat, trying to make my backdrop not look too chaotic, because I've been doing most of these from the office of late, but at home today. So yeah, it's quite funny leading one of these in a while. It's been a little while since I headed up one, but no, it's really good to be getting back on the horse and doing some more webinars, and really excited about showing everyone all of this. As everyone knows, I'm a huge fan of fully integrated partnerships. So really excited to show in depth what we've done with the TDS today, and also mention some of our other partner integrations that we've got on our customer journey as well. Here to see my left-hand lady is right here. Carla's here. I like the chaotic background. As chaotic as I am, Carla, so I think it probably aligns with me quite nicely. Right, so I think we're going to get cracking, because I think with a lot of people, we might get a few people join us, but a lot of people are probably going to watch this back afterwards anyway, maybe this evening with a cup of coffee or something a little bit stronger after a day at the office. So, right, let's get cracking. So, hello, everybody. Welcome to today's webinar about the Depositary and TDS and our latest custodial integration. I'm joined today by Kelly Wallace, who is the sales director. Sales director, is that right, Kelly?
You gave me a promotion. I'm a sales manager.
Just giving Kelly a promotion in a day.
The other one, though.
She'll take that one. Sales manager at TDS. And so we're going to do a quick little intro, quick little top introduction from each of us. And then what we're going to do, we're actually going to jump live into the Depositary platform. And I'm going to give you guys, as fast as possible, a whirlwind tour of a tenancy process and how the TDS custodial integration enhances that offering and streamlines everything for people. So without further ado, a quick intro of myself, and then I'll pass over to Kelly to give a proper introduction, a bit of background herself. So for those of you who don't already know me, I'm Kristjan. I'm one of the co-founders of the Depositary. I've been an estate and letting agent, specialized in lettings for nearly 20 years. My partner Anne and I built the Depositary, and we've worked very closely in collaboration, in partnership with TDS, really since the inception of the idea. We came up with the idea of the Depositary nearly 5 years ago. It took us about 4 years to develop a product that we were happy with to bring to market, which we launched at the tail end of 2019. And we are now just over a year through, and really excited to see that client base growing. Some sort of few statistics. Sorry, as I duck my head around, everybody, I'm trying to dodge the massive reflection on my glasses. So a few statistics about the Depositary. So first of all, what is the Depositary? So we have digitized and streamlined the end of tenancy process. So very simply, from after notice, so we do not facilitate the serving of notice. Once notice has been either given or received, we take care of 80 to 90% of the agent journey from that point through to a refund or the unlikely situation of a dispute. Okay. Last year, we processed in excess of 2,000 tenancies. Some interesting statistics out of that. Our average deposit return time, our median deposit return time is 17 days. So about 4 days faster than the UK average, which is 21 days. And around 70%, well, actually over 70% of all deductions proposed within our platform were accepted by tenants without any form of renegotiation whatsoever. Because you'll see when we get there, we drive a very fact and evidence-based deductions process. Now, some background things about our platform. We are a highly customizable platform. We have somewhere in the region of 200 different configurations of the way our platform can be used. Our platform sends out nearly 80 different customer journey emails, all of which agents have access to customize as they see fit. Now, don't panic, agents. You don't need to go in and customize all 70 odd emails. We recommend there are 6 that you focus on. Your sort of introduction, the sort of key stage emails that we strongly recommend agents customize. And then the rest, it's really up to you in terms of how deep and rich you want that sort of bespoke journey to be. Our platform can be completely black, gray, or white labeled. So you can use us as the depository in our branding. You can drop your agency brand colors onto the platform, but still be depository, or go fully white labeled, and all emails, platform logins, everything is all seen as an extension of your agency and your brand. You get to control even how, well, I like to use the phrase passive or aggressive the platform is. There are 13 key actions that take tenants and landlords through the end of tenancy process. And as agents, you can control how frequently those things are chased. You can upload list of recommended cleaners. You can streamline your checkout booking service, whether you do checkouts in-house or through a third party. And as I said, we will get on to some of our integrations later. We have just last night deployed our 6th integration. Obviously, the key focus today is about our new TDS Custodial integration, which now complements our insured scheme integration, which we had at the start, end of 2019, and we then enhanced that in early 2020 with some extra functionality. So that's a really brief overview of what we give our agents. As an agent myself, we've tried to make it really as transparent as possible. In terms of how we work with agents, we have a very simple pricing model. You basically get a year's license with our platform, and we charge, we call it a branch license, but a branch covers up to 300 managed properties. So that is how, if you're wondering how much is this software going to cost me, look at your management portfolio, and let's say you have 750 managed properties. That would fall into a 3-branch license, because we do 300 managed properties per branch is our pricing model. So if you manage 750 units, you would be paying us a monthly license of £150 plus VAT. Now, for that, you can have as many physical branches set up on our system as you want. We have unlimited users, and also that rate is locked in for a year. So if you sign up with us at 750, if 4 months down the line, you've either done an amazing sales campaign or you acquire an agency and you go over the 900 capacity of a 3-branch license, we don't instantly dial you up to a 4-branch. That rate is locked in for the whole year. And each year we'll do a review and you will pay based on your new size portfolio. And obviously, if that's not changed, then nothing else changes. There are absolutely no setup fees to our platform. So there are no hefty layouts for the privilege of getting our platform. And like I said, we have an array of customizations, which we will assist you during the setup process. But as agents, you have complete access to 24/7. So if you guys do a rebrand, you're not going to have to come back to us and pay us a fee to rebrand your whole platform. You guys will be able to log in, upload your logo, update your brand palette, click save, and that is applied to the entire platform and all your email comms. So that is really, as brief and nutshell, a summary of what we're doing here at the Depositary. Obviously, I'm going to show you functionality-wise what our platform does. I'm now going to shut up for a minute and let Kelly tell you a little bit about her journey with TDS. And yeah, once she's done and dusted, we'll get on with a live demo. Kelly, over to you.
Thank you, Kristjan. And morning, everyone. So I'm Kelly. I'm the sales manager at TDS. I've been with TDS just under 7 years now, starting in our dispute department. I then progressed into the member relations department, focusing on the insured scheme. I'm now in business development, so focusing predominantly on helping customers move over to TDS where they don't currently use us. So that's where I'll help with things like training and going to agents and showing them the light and why and how TDS can improve their whole experience when it comes to deposit protection. Just as a bit of background of TDS, we are obviously a deposit protection scheme offering both insured and custodial. We're the only not-for-profit scheme, so actually any surplus we make at TDS, we can invest back into the company, which really allows us to focus on things like improvements when it comes to technology, customer service, and I think that's where the Depositary comes in nicely to enhance the whole customer journey.
Well, that was definitely a much shorter, sharper summary than mine, Kelly. Thanks for that. That actually leads me into obviously adding one thing. The Depositary is an exclusive TDS partner product. So if you are with any of the other deposit schemes at the moment, you are absolutely welcome to get a full agency demo with us. However, if you would like to benefit from the efficiencies and automation that our platform does bring to your business, then that is going to involve a migration from your deposit scheme over to TDS. Now, what I will say is we have recently had Leader Fox, led by Ryan Wolfenden, join us. And he has actually gone through that migration journey. And I have to say, gave the whole process a massive thumbs up. He did say that whilst he was, of course, assured by TDS, it would be a really easy, stress-free process. He said, proof would be in the pudding. He wasn't going to hold his breath on that one, but actually having been through it, it was easier than he could have ever hoped for. And he's now really excited, not only to, be with TDS and have some of the enhanced functionality that you guys already have in place anyway, but obviously the enhanced benefit of now also being able to use our product and that being fully integrated. And, he's really excited about what that means going forwards. So that's really good. And we've had a few agents either going through that process now or starting that journey. And if you are remotely interested, and we'll come back to this again at the end, I'm about to jump into the demo, but if you want to have any conversations around our platform or around migrating to TDS, it doesn't matter who you contact. You can reach out to TDS or Depositary. We will happily answer as many questions in as depth way as we can. And then obviously if you'd like a referral, if you'd like one of the other company to then get in touch, we can look after that for you. You don't have to worry about managing communications between both channels. We are working as a very close partnership, and we're talking on an almost daily basis, if not by email, then literally on Zoom calls or meetings or whatever. So there's a very good channel of communication going back and forward. The other thing I will add is if you have any major comments or questions you would like covered in this, do please post them in the comment section. I will likely circle back round to those at the end of the demo, just so I don't lose any flow. But do post things in there if you've got major questions that come up. And obviously, if you're watching this on playback, still post comments on the video. Members of TDS and us will be regularly checking into this video, and we will be looking at comments, and we will get back to you. We will respond. Obviously, equally, go to either of our websites, get in touch via email, via our website, and either of our teams will happily help you. So that is enough waffling on. Let's do this, shall we? So, right, I'm going to share my screen. Now, as I explained to Kelly, I'm doing this on a single screen laptop. So for a brief second, everyone is going to disappear down a space-like rabbit hole until I change tab, but off we go. So I'm just going to change this now. Here we are, and there disappears everyone. So just very quickly, I just wanted to jump onto my agency's page just to show you what a live dashboard looks like. So this is the platform in full effect. And really, you should pretty much get a grasp of what's going on straight away. So these are all our concluding tenancies at the moment. And at a glance, you can see at what stage all those tenancies are at. A red flag denotes an action standing on us. At the top, you've got all the actions summarized. which will always be in the order according to the settings you've put in the platform. And the little red icons at the top denote outstanding actions on us to perform to move those tenancies forward. We've got a little bit of data at the bottom. I'm going to be honest, we've not gone rich on the data yet. As we grow our client base, we're going to be working with agents to really extract some really exciting, useful data that you guys can leverage to your benefit. Be that, low disputes, high success rates with deposit deductions that you can leverage to landlords, quick deposit turnaround times that you can leverage to tenants, etc., etc. But I just wanted to quickly show you a dashboard with some live data. So I'm now going to hop across to our demo platform. And so what we've got here, we're in the platform, and I've already come in and I've done the vast majority of what I would need to do setting up a tenancy. So I've selected a property, I've put in the start and end date, I've uploaded a tenancy agreement and the check-in report, I've put in the tenancy details. Now, this is the first part of our TDS Custodial integration. So when you type in your TDS certificate code or you copy and paste it in here, now, because I'm in a test environment, we have a little cheat code. So we put in TDS test. And you can see just underneath it, it says validating. And in true live webinar fashion, it is going slower than we would have hoped today.
Thinking about it.
There we go. So what I will say is our demo environment that I'm doing this in does run at a considerably slower pace than our live platform. At the end of the day, we pay for the speed we get. Obviously, for our clients, we pay for the fastest experience possible. So this is all streamlined. In our demo and testing environment, we do pay for a lower hosting package. Just makes financial sense. So you will see actions in here being a little bit slow at times. That is not an accurate representation of what the platform is like in real life time. But what you've seen there is what the platform will do. So when you put in your TDS certificate code, it will validate it. And on the basis you put in an accurate certificate code, it will auto-populate the deposit amount, which it has captured from the TDS system. Okay, so removes data entry, removes another element of human error. And so we're going to go in and we're going to add that tenancy to our system. Here we are. And so once tenancy in the system, to get the process going, we're going to tell the system that notice has been served. So I'm going to allocate myself as the agency user. Now, as I alluded to earlier, there are an array of customizations that you can customize this platform to align itself almost, if not completely in line with exactly what your current process is. So you're not having to reinvent your agency. You're not having to change your processes and procedures to adopt some new piece of tech. Our platform will align itself, if not exactly, very, very closely to whatever your internal operations are. Now, whatever you set your standardized settings to, there are some settings which you can toggle according to an individual tenancy. Because as we all know, you might typically book the checkouts in-house, but maybe you've got a portfolio landlord who uses their own inventory clerk and they want that to book that. Or typically you have to gather meter readings, but maybe you've got a landlord who has properties where the bills are included and you don't need to do meter readings. You can toggle certain settings bespoke to an individual tenancy. Because like I said, as agents ourselves, we know there's a framework we like to work to, but there are always those funny little exceptions to the rule. Okay, so for the purpose of today, we're going to say that the agent is going to arrange the checkout and the clean, and we're going to click save. And so that starts the process. So all parties involved, the landlord and the tenants, will get introduction emails, making, sort of saying, hi, as you should be aware, notice has been served on your tenancy. We're the depository. We're here working with whatever your agency name is to take you through the end of tenancy process. So just waiting for this page to refresh. So we'll get the tenancy dashboard up. And so what we see here is the tenancy dashboard. Now, this is pretty much what everyone sees, whether you're an agent, tenant, or landlord. What we've tried to do is keep this platform as uniform as possible. Now, obviously, there are certain specific pieces of data which for GDPR will be hidden from one another, but fundamentally, it all works exactly the same. And obviously, this is a fully responsive platform. This is a web-based app. So this is what it looks like on a laptop or PC screen. But if you're doing this on a small tablet or mobile phone, the linear timeline that you see running across the screen here actually becomes a wheel that you work your way around. Some of the key functionality, this is a completely interactive timeline, so you can jump ahead in the process and you can go back to things previously completed. Whoever is logged into the platform, again, agent, tenant, or landlord, if they log in and the action falls on that user to complete, then you have this very clear banner with a "you need to do this" and a button right in the middle of it. So, you know, if we go to checkout, there's no call to action banner. Okay, so again, we've worked really hard to make it really simple, because obviously what we appreciate is as agents, you'll be using this pretty much day in, day out. But for your tenants, they might use this platform once every 3 years. They might only use it once in a decade. So what they need to be able to do is log in and very quickly get to grasp with what they need to do. So we've worked very hard to make this a very intuitive process. At each stage in the timeline, you also have the stages that need to be completed in order to progress forwards. So that's enough of me waffling on. We're going to quickly go through here. So we're going to confirm the checkout appointment. Now, as the agent, we're doing this on behalf of the tenant, but you can allocate for the tenant to do this. And this can also be linked with, this can also be linked with a third-party inventory clerk, so that a booking request can go straight to a third-party inventory clerk without your involvement. The tenant can request it. The inventory clerk can confirm it or liaise directly with them. It all gets confirmed and captured within the platform without you as an agent needing to be involved at all. Likewise, you can arrange a clean if you like to do that for your tenants. We recommend agents upload a bespoke cleaning terms and conditions document. That might be an identical copy of what is already in your tenancy agreement. But again, what we're all about is making it really easy for tenants to access the information they need, and hopefully just the information they need at the moment they need it. So again, I'm filling this out on behalf of I'm sort of effectively booking a clean on behalf of the tenant. But again, tenants, we don't actually facilitate the booking if you pass it to tenants, but tenants will have access to all your recommended cleaners. And they then make their own arrangements and they just submit the details of what they've arranged within the platform. So that's the early stages. The platform, according to the platform, today is the end date of the tenancy and today is the checkout. We booked the checkout for 7 o'clock this morning. So the platform wants to know, has that checkout taken place? Now, what I would like people to make a note of is we now have 3 partner integrations. We have just launched the latest one last night, which automate the next stage of this process that I'm about to show you. So we have partnered with 3 inventory partners. At the top of that list is a fellow TDS partner, Inventory Hive. They were the first integration we launched in the inventory space. And quickly after that, we've added Inventory Base. And just last night, we have launched an integration with No Letting Go. Now, what that means is everything I'm about to show you that as an agent you do manually, if you use any of those 3 suppliers, or if your third-party inventory clerk uses any of these third-party suppliers, this next stage of the process will be automated for you. It will literally all happen at the click of a button. I'll explain that more when we get to the end of this next phase. So we're going to say, yep, we know that that checkout actually did take place this morning. We are going to upload a checkout report. So here's the checkout report. We're going to upload into the platform. And we're also going to put in the meter readings. Now, for the purpose of today, I'm not going to bother uploading photos of each meter reading. Okay. But you can upload photos manually. But like I said, with our inventory integrations, all of this happens automatically. It confirms the checkout's taken place. It captures the inventory report. It captures all of the meter readings, all of the meter photos, and that is all instantly pulled into the system. When a checkout report is added to our system also notifies all users, again, your landlords and your tenants, that the checkout has been completed, and that it's been uploaded to the system and it is available for people to view. So users can log in and access that part of the process. Now, we're now at the stage where deductions. So 2 choices, no deductions or add deductions. Our platform works in 2 ways. You can dedicate this part of the process to your landlord. So what we typically find with our agents is they're let-only landlords. At this stage, this part of the process passes to the landlord. So they will get a notification saying a checkout report's completed. You now need to confirm if there are any deductions, and if so, what they are. For managed, usually the agent will set up proposals, send those to the landlord to sign off, and then go through the tenant negotiation process. So for the purpose of today, we're going to say there are a couple of deductions. I'm going to quickly add in, for the purpose of today, I'm actually just going to add in 1 deduction for today, just to keep this super clean. So we're going to say there's a dirty kitchen, and we're going to want £120 for cleaning that. And we're going to say kitchen was filthy. Now you can reference inventory, checkout reports, tenancy contract clauses. So you can say, right, page 5 of the inventory and check-in showed it was clean. Page 6 of the checkout report showed it was dirty. And clause F7 in our tenancy agreement sets out the requirements of a tenant in terms of how our property should be returned. You can upload any additional evidence. So we're going to upload, I think I've got a photo of a dirty kitchen here. I think we all know if the kitchen did look like that, it would cost a hell of a lot more than 120 quid. You can also upload invoices as proof of cost, etc., etc. Now, all the fields that I'm populating are inventory integrations, the category, the name, the description, the photos, and the checkout report reference. If you're using any of our integrated inventory partners, all of this data, as long as the inventory clerk has allocated it as tenant liability, is all auto-imported into our platform in a draft status. So all you need to do is go through the list, add a deduction sort. You might want to upload an invoice. Like I said, you might want to add a bit more context, like a tenancy contract clause. But the vast majority of this will already be waiting for you in your platform. So you no longer need to read a 20, 30, 40 page checkout document. All you will do is come in here, and the 2, 5, 8 issues that your inventory clerk has flagged will all be in here. You can delete the ones that you don't think need addressing. You edit the ones you want to, okay? And then when you're good and ready, you'll save that deduction. And like I said, for today, we're just going to do 1 deduction. So, and then when you're ready, you send that off for sign off. Now, there are 2 ways you can do this. If you want to keep that personal touch, you can actually jump on the phone with your landlord and say, right, hi, Mr. Bloggs, we've gone through your checkout report, and really the only issue is a dirty kitchen. You know, we've had this quote. Are you happy for us to go ahead, etc., and do that over the phone? Or you could do it all through our platform. So you can click sign off. This will go off to your landlord. They will get a notification that there are proposed deductions waiting for their approval within the platform. They have, I believe it's 5 days to check and either approve, edit, or delete those deductions. If they don't do anything within those 5 days, it auto approves on their behalf and sends the deductions onto the landlord. And they do get chased on that daily. So there is no reason a landlord should ever miss that. Again, for the speed of today, we're going to skip the landlord approval and we're going to sign off. So we're going to say, yeah, we've spoken to Mr. Bloggs on the phone. He's had a look at the checkout report. He concurs and he's happy to go ahead with that. Okay, so what I'm now going to do is jump across to my emails. I'm just going to quickly jump in to an email to one of the tenants. So here is an email. I've not shown you any of the email tenant journey yet, but here is the email to the tenants where straight away they can see, right, they've reviewed the checkout report, they've proposed deduction right away. I know exactly what that's going to be. And that tenant can come in here. If we wait for this to come live. And here we are. So as you can see, what the tenant sees is literally everything they need to know. So they can see there's a proposed dirty kitchen. Every bit of evidence they need to know to assess their liability in here is available. They know inventory pages. All of these are documents they can click on to open and review. So if they doubt anything you're saying, you know, they can review that. Like I said, if you'd upload an invoice, they could review that. Now, they could decline. If they decline, first box is a counter offer. They can put in comments as to why, and then they have exactly the same evidence boxes. So if they feel the inventory or the checkout or the tenancy supports them, they can reference those pages. They can upload evidence that they feel submits their position. And obviously that will then just go back and forward in a conversation-like process until you reach an agreement. But for the purpose of today, we're going to say that those tenants are happy with that £120 deduction. And we're going to jump back into the agency dashboard and we're just going to refresh that tab. And so now we can see that deduction stage has been completed. Now, if we go back to it, like I said, you can go back to it and you can go in here and you can see we've also got activity logs at the bottom. At any time, you can go in and see exactly what's happened in a timeline. You can see actions and emails or filter them individually. So there is total transparency with what is going on in the platform. And we're now ready to finalize the deposit refund. And this is where the tail end of our TDS Custodial integration comes into play. So as an agent, you're going to come in and you're going to say, yeah, right, that is correct. It was 2584, 120 off. That is the correct balance. I understand this will initiate a refund request with TDS. You tick that box. And that is literally the end of your agency journey. That will now relay that information over to TDS. TDS on receipt will revalidate that calculation. So they will contact the tenant and say, oh, we understand you've agreed £120 deduction. Is that correct? Great. Please give us your bank details. They will gather the bank details. And as you know, they will allocate the tenant's funds direct to them. And the landlord funds will be allocated to you as an agent to then distribute to your clients as you see fit. Now, the last thing I'm just going to do, if I just refresh the tenancy tab on that, the last thing that our platform does do is it auto generates a completion report. And that is literally just a summary of all the key information. So you guys, if you want, you can download that. You can save that into your CRM system. You can save it onto your server or wherever you keep your tenancy documents. And that is a complete summary of that whole process end to end. The deposit certificates code, the deductions, who signed off, what, when, where, how, and why. So let me jump back to, let's get out of this rabbit hole. So it's just me and Kelly. So that was a really whirlwind tour with quite a bit of waffle in there from me about what that agency journey is like. Some statistics on what we've done time-wise. When we first looked at this process, we established that agents on average spend between 3 to 4 hours on each tenancy, progressing them from, like I said, post-notice to refund or indeed dispute. And yeah, so what we've done is we have now got that down to well under half an hour. So we've basically removed all of your standard emails. So when you first do notice served on the tenancy, something we've got in there is in the last 4 weeks leading up to the checkout, your tenants will receive a weekly email. 4 weeks to go. You guys should be doing this, and this week. 3 weeks to go, etc., etc. And again, that is all customizable. So as agents, you can go in there, you can customize that to align with the workflows and the requirements that you have of your tenants in terms of how that property works. We've got agents who work with us in a myriad of ways. Some use third-party inventory clerks. Some do them in-house. Some like their tenants to be present. Some like their tenants to surrender their keys and then they just go in afterwards. Some like their tenants to clean the property themselves beforehand. Some like to do the clean after the tenants have handed back. There really is no fixed model in terms of, you know, how you need to work or how the platform facilitates it. But what it does is it automates all of that stuff. And the whole point is we're not, I think like any good tech and agency, we're not about removing the agent. We're about removing all the pretty much zero value work that sits on an agent's desk, on a property manager's desk, or whoever it is in your company that does this part of the process. It's often a property administrator or a property manager. So really the whole point is you just add your expertise and your value where it's needed. You know, like I said, you will review the proposed deductions. You will use your professional expertise as to what is fair and legitimate, what is a reasonable amount. And, you know, you're there to guide your landlord down that path. You're also there to sort of chaperone the conversation with tenants and sort of help people find that happy sort of medium. And like I said, you know, integrations are a huge part of that. So as you saw just there, you know, it really tops and tails the process, really streamlines and makes everything super, super easy. As I mentioned in there, we've got 3 inventory partner integrations now live. So we have a TDS partner inventory hive integration, inventory base, and also just launched last night, we have a no letting go integration. So those partners are all fully integrated into our software. We also currently have a utility service integration with Please Connect Me as well. So if you switch on that integration, the meter reading data that is captured from the checkout report is instantly transferred to Please Connect Me to facilitate the closing off of bills. And there's also a trickle campaign to propose the benefits of the tenants using that service, not only to close off their bills, which Please Connect Me will do for free, but also to set up new utilities at whatever property they're moving on to. And there are revenue earning opportunities from that too. So that was a very brief whirlwind tour. Did that sort of all make sense to you, Kelly? Because I know you've been watching some previous demo videos of ours, and I don't know whether you've actually seen that one with the TDS Custodial topping and tailing it.
Yeah, I think what's immediately apparent is the streamlined nature of it and how transparent it is. I think that's the key thing to get across. So in all the conversations we have with agent customers, it's about being able to see what's going on from all sides of the table. So for the tenant to be able to go in and see what's going on, they're more likely to agree to deductions if it's really clear in front of them. And I think that's what came across in that little section that you showed. Hopefully preventing disputes from happening. That's what we all want to, I think we all want to achieve, is stopping that from, you know, getting to that point. And if everyone knows what's going on, and if a tenant is fully aware why a deduction is being made and their attention is being drawn to the specific elements of the tenancy agreement, of the check-in, of the checkout, they're more likely to agree if they're, you know, if they're aware of what's going on, rather than just being told we're deducting £100, you know, please agree. Why? You know, what's going on? So I think you know, that you really showed that in that demo. So that's good.
Yeah, I mean, you know, as I said at the top, you know, last year, you know, we handled over 2,000 tenancies. Actually, we should figure out how many individual deductions were proposed on those 2,000 tenancies. But over 70% of all proposed deductions, like I said, were agreed without any form of renegotiation from tenants. Now, I think most agents reading this, you know, that alone will probably make them sit up and take notice. But like you said, what we've done is we've looked at this, and you know, what we felt going into this, there was way too much emotion in this. You know, it's, yes, as a managing agent, as a landlord, you might be disappointed about how a tenant has handed back the property. But let's face facts, as disappointing as it is, that's just part of the job. That, you know, if it was easy, if every tenant handed back their property the same or better than they received it, landlords wouldn't need property managers. You know, we'd all be out of a job. So as frustrating and disappointing as it sometimes can be, you know, that is a reality of it. And, you know, and likewise, let's not also forget, you know, there are lots of tenants out there who who've been treated very poorly in the past. You know, they have been tricked and misled and you know, manipulated into paying over funds that they really shouldn't. And so, like you said, this is super transparent, really, really fact-based. You know, we wanted to get away from these long waffly emails to tenants that start off with, oh, it was so disappointing to see how you returned the property. Tenant doesn't care if you're disappointed. You know, by that time they've moved out. It is what it is. All a tenant really wants to know is, how much are you going to deduct from their deposit? Is it fair? Can you substantiate it? And following that, how quickly are they going to get their deposit back? You know, and really what we're focusing on that is drilling down on those. And like I said, as you alluded to, Kelly, you know, when you're presented with something of, it shows on this document it was spotless. It shows on that document it was filthy. It shows the invoice and this is the exact cost. And here is your contract, you know, here is the clause in the contract that you signed that said, oh no, I acknowledge, you know, I'll be responsible for that. And that is something very, very, very hard to argue with, coupled with the fact that, like I said, you've also got those weekly preparation emails to the tenants going out in the 4 weeks beforehand. There is absolutely no excuse for a tenant to go, oh, I didn't realize we needed to do this and I didn't realize we needed to do that. And it's all captured within the system. So you have that. There is, you know, there is total accountability, but also total transparency. I'm just looking at the comments. I've got Ian Crampton, who is one of my favorite agents in the world. Ian of Ferndown Estates was, I think, our very first sort of external client after base, and has been a huge advocate. He's a member of the guild. And I'm going to try sharing some of these comments. I think some of them are so big, we're going to probably take up half the screen with them, but let's have a quick look. So we've got Ian, the beauty with the system is that it pushes the processes to the stakeholders and allows them to see they are part of the process in determining the amount of deduction, if any, is fair, relevant, and follows guidelines. Provides a transparent and balanced view and allows agents to demonstrate their impartiality in the process. Spot on, Ian. I didn't focus on it too much, but each time you add a deduction, according to the class, the category you choose, cleaning, damage, etc., the agent or landlord, and this is actually primarily aimed at the landlords, has to tick a sort of disclaimer statement which captures all the TDS guidelines about what is fair and reasonable. So, you know, it will say, and if it's damage, it will highlight the fact that you cannot replace, you know, you can't charge a tenant to replace old for new. You know, you have to factor in the age. If it's decorative or if it's cleaning, you know, it has to all be fair. If the property wasn't professionally cleaned when a tenant moved in, you can't reasonably expect that of a tenant when they move out. You know, if the carpets weren't steam cleaned, you can't expect the tenant to do that. And so we're not locking people in. You know, we're not it was impossible to build a system that would somehow use AI to understand whether a claim really was legitimate. But it's just about removing that cloud of uncertainty. You know, and you might have a landlord who goes, I don't care what the regulations are. I want you to ask for that. And at the end of the day, as an agent, you do sometimes get stuck in that slightly tricky, you know, in the middle scenario. And ultimately, more often than not, you will probably end up going to the landlord, look, I don't per se agree. I don't think it's a legitimate claim, but let's put it across. And then look, you know, if it gets accepted, so be it. But if the tenant kicks back, or God forbid, if that even ends up resulting in a dispute, again, you've got a very contextual thing to go back to the landlord and go, you shouldn't be surprised about this, because when you added it, you clicked this disclaimer and you knew asking for your tenants to replace a 10-year-old sofa, you were never going to get a penny of that, but you decided to roll the dice and have a crack. But that's fine. Take a chance, roll the dice, but then don't get upset when the rules that you know apply don't work out in your favor. So what else have we got here? Well done for integrating TDS and inventory platform, guys. Thank you, Ian. Ian is on form today. Absolutely, Kelly. Let's work better at getting disputes down in the first place for menial things. And I think that is probably music to Kelly's ears, isn't it?
Yeah, I think the dispute side of the process, I mentioned to you, Kristjan, earlier, that actually only 1% of the deposits protected with TDS end in dispute. which is, you know, it sounds so tiny. It still equates to, I think it's about 15,000 disputes a year, but it's, you know, it's such a small part, but it becomes such a time consuming and, you know, it's not a fun part of lettings. You know, what you guys do, there are, I'm sure, a lot more enjoyable aspects than dealing with a dispute. So at TDS, we really take the view to prepare for the end of the tenancy at the start. So you've got everything in place should it end in a disagreement. But hopefully, you know, with these kind of steps, with being transparent from the beginning in terms of the obligations, reminding tenant what they've got to do, will hopefully reduce the amount of times that they are disagreeing where a deduction is being proposed. So that's, I think, again, just kind of reiterates the importance of this kind of integration to help on that side of things and to, you know, to make it more streamlined and just a more enjoyable experience.
And look, we've not talked about the dispute process. I mean, we couldn't. It would have been a very long webinar, and we would have revealed all our little secrets about our platform if I'd walked through every possibility. But it goes without saying that obviously built into our platform, and this was something you guys as TDS were adamant about, was, you know, retaining the principal rights of all users in there, and that being the fact that a tenant has that right that if they feel they're being misled or being asked to pay something unreasonable, there is that dispute framework in there. So what I will add to people is we do have a facility within our platform. There are strict frameworks so that a dispute can't be triggered too easily. I mean, that was a huge challenge for us building this, was finding the balance of making sure, like I said, that as TDS wanted, the rights of a tenant to raise a dispute and to easily and fairly raise a dispute are facilitated within our platform, but equally at the same time not to have this massive red dispute button in the corner right from the get-go. So tenants go, oh yeah, I'm just going to dispute this. I can't be bothered to give this evidence or answer this question. I'm just going to hit dispute and it can be TDS's problem. So what I would say is we do have channels for a tenancy or specific issues to be flagged as disputes. And then we have a capture process to try and prevent things going to a dispute. And we also then have a dispute integration with TDS. So as you've seen, because of the way we do things in a very evidence-based system, we have agreed a report sort of structure with TDS that if a tenancy goes to dispute, you no longer need to now go separately to a TDS platform and log in and upload all of your disputed evidence. You will now be able to do pretty much a 2-click dispute file submission straight from the depository over to TDS. So yes, they are only 1%. And, you know, we're hoping to work with TDS to keep shrinking that number. I mean, you guys have already brought that down, because I remember when deposit started, it was more around 1.5%. Now, when you say 0.5%, it doesn't sound like a lot, but when you say that's a reduction of 1/3, that really puts that into context. So, you know, we're really hoping to work with you guys to keep shrinking that number. But we all know those disputes do happen, and we know as agents that varies. You know, some agents have none, some agents have several. It's partially to do with the marketplace you operate in, the landlord base that you have, etc., etc., etc. But we do have functions and features in that. If you do book a demo with us, we will obviously walk you through a lot more how that functionality works. But like I said, if for those tenancies that do go to dispute, if you do it through the depository platform, it is pretty much a 2-click dispute file submission process.
I think it's reducing the duplication as well. So that's one of the big things that we're really keen to do. We recognize that letting agents are filling things in on one platform and then another and having to repeat all of that information. So obviously that's one benefit of the integration with the depository, both should things end amicably and everyone's in agreement, and also in the event that they don't and it does go to dispute, so that we're not asking agents to repeat all of the same information. It's it's carried through.
So Ian's got an interesting one here. We only had 4 claims, I believe, since TDS inception. However, we took the platform on as a way of saving time. The arbitration assistance educates all parties involved and saves us a heck of a lot of time. So there you go. It's just sort of educating and informing people along the process. Since the inception of the depository, we've had 0 disputes. So there we go. So Ferndown have been with us nearly a year. I think they signed up with us February February 2019 or start of March. I know I think about a week or 2 weeks before lockdown, the initial lockdown. So yeah, it's been great to have them with us for a year. And there you go. There's a real sort of validation of what we've got going on there. Can you also promote the distribution of funds process at the end of the tenancy? So what Ian's alluding to here, thanks Ian, we haven't talked about it because today was all about our custodial integration. But as we mentioned at the start, we do have an insured scheme integration as well. So as you saw at the end of that, Valentine's Day, it was Valentine's Day when you signed up for me. And how could I forget that? So 14th of February was, I'm never allowed to forget that, much like I'm never allowed to forget Valentine's Day with my missus either. So there we go. So yeah, but we do obviously have an insured integration as well. So obviously what we saw today, TDS do all the fund allocation. When as an agent you hold the funds, similarly you would sign off on the breakdown of funds. And then what we do is the platform liaises with all parties confirming how funds are being allocated between all tenants and the bank details of who those are to be sent to. And again, that's all on a time clock. So that has to be concluded, I think, within either 48 or 72 hours of you signing off of the breakdown. And all those funds are presented to you. All those, the breakdown of funds and payment details are then presented to you. So you can then facilitate those payments. And with the insured scheme integration, when you confirm all those payments have been made and you've allocated the deposit, that integration auto concludes your deposit protection with the insured scheme. So I think that's about it. I mean, as always, I can waffle on as much as I want. Oh, we've just had a question coming in from Andrew Field saying, hi, which inventory platforms are you integrated with? Ian has mentioned earlier, we currently have 3 inventory partner integrations. We have fellow TDS partner Inventory Hive. We have Inventory Base, which some agents use in-house, but also is very widely used by third-party inventory clerks. So if you use a third-party inventory clerk, you may or may not be aware what software they use. So do reach out to your inventory company and ask them what software they use. And we have just launched last night an integration with No Letting Go with their capture system. So if you use any of those softwares or the inventory clerk you do does, that is now fully integrated into our process. And those integrations, we estimate alone, save 15 to 20 minutes per tenancy. Huge time saving just from those individual partner plugins. Great choice from 3 huge providers in the marketplace there. And again, obviously, I think if you tell your property managers, if you go for those inventory partner integrations, if you turn around to your property managers and tell them that they never have to read a checkout report again, they might kiss you on the spot. Because I know that for my property managers, I could sort of hear their hearts groan when a 30-page, 40-page checkout report lands on their desk, and they're like, "Oh, great, okay, there goes the next hour of my life trawling through this, just identifying what the issues are, extracting that information, figuring out what we're going to charge, etc., etc." So that's about it. We could waffle on. Thank you for adding that question at the end. Like we said, guys, this video is going to be... Andrew, you use Inventory Base. Fantastic. Get in touch with them. They can guide you through how to link the accounts to switch on that integration with us. So yeah, that's it. We're going to wrap this up before I waffle on for too long. We've already gone on much longer than I anticipated in the first place, but that's me and talking too much. Like I said, this is obviously available for playback. So if you're not watching this live, do please post comments. Like I said, we will be coming back and getting in touch. We will be coming back and checking this and answering your comments and questions. If you want to know more about TDS's integrations, not just with us, but with other partners and their tech stack at the moment, reach out to TDS directly. If you want to know more about the depository, if you'd like a proper bespoke demo for yourself, get in touch via our website, via any of our social media. And like I said, we're happy to talk. If you are not currently a TDS member agent, we work very closely with TDS about helping you either migrate or start a new sort of transition with your new tenancies transitioning into into TDS. So that's it, really. Thank you for your time, everyone. I hope that was helpful and insightful and has revealed a little bit more about what we get up to at the Depositary, but also our fantastic partners at TDS and the incredible integrations that they've delivered with us. And really, who that delivers for is you guys, the agents. Less data entry, less human error, less hopping between multiple different platforms and dashboards. Everything that, for those who know me, I've been banging a drum about for 5, if not 10 years. And it's everything we're trying to practice here, both as Depositary, but also with the partners that we go with. Kelly, thank you for your time today. And any last things you want to add?
No, thank you for having me. And just to echo what you've said, obviously this is available for existing TDS customers. For those who don't currently use TDS, we have a switching agreement in place with the other deposit protection providers. So we make the transition over to TDS as easy and streamlined and straightforward as possible. And then they can benefit from, using the Depositary. So it's a win-win.
Fantastic. Kelly, thank you ever so much. Guys, thank you for watching and look forward to speaking to you guys soon. All the best.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.